Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Cashflow Diary podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other Cashflow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
Welcome to Cashflow Diary podcast number 200. The voice you're hearing is not the one you usually hear on this podcast. Don't pause the recording. Don't freak out. We are in for a wild ride today. And that's because we're all going somewhere very special together, into the mind and heart of Jay Massey. Folks, my name is John Klymshyn, and several months ago I had the privilege of appearing on Jay's podcast. Well, Jay and I had a great time doing that interview, and we're proud of it because of the feedback we received from across the globe. Today is a special day, and this is a special experience because today I get to interview someone I respect and admire as a professional and as a man, a leader, a teacher, mentor, educator, investor, philanthropist. Jay Massey is one of those guys you meet and want to spend more time with. He truly and deservedly grows by helping others grow. Today we have limited time to delve into his head and heart. And in the fashion of true professionals, we prepared for this in advance so that we could get the most out of it. Hopefully you have as well. So I will go ahead and give you a heads up right now. If you're listening and you do not have a pen and paper in hand, pause the recording, go get that, pull over, sit down, get ready. Because in just a few seconds, we will begin our journey. I'm going to ask some questions that people who follow Jay and who wisely subscribe have submitted in advance. I'm sure I'm going to have some of my own. So let's welcome Jay Massey to his own 200th podcast.
Hi guys, I'm smiling so big, it's just awesome. I'm just smiling so big, it's just awesome. Yes.
Well, we're here to turn the tables, Jay, and we're here to hopefully turn up the volume on what people learn from you. So I know that this is something that is unusual because usually you're driving it and you're bringing all the energy and you're trying to draw information and ideas out of people. Well, we have had a whole bunch of people, including myself, say, you know what is really going on with him? How do we get the most out of him? And what questions, if I had 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 67 minutes with him, what would I want to ask him? So let's begin by asking you, if you had to choose 3 words to live by, what would they be?
3 words to live by. Okay. I'm going to go with the first one that came to mind was integrity. The second one that came to mind was faith. And the third would be action.
Integrity, faith, and action. So it's interesting that when we ask people questions that give them 3 things that we want them to find, usually the speed of their answer slows down as they get to the last one. So because when we ask people, give me your 2 favorite restaurants, they're searching for what the exact right perfect answers are because they want to give you the best ones they can come up with. Somehow, some way, when we ask people to come up with answers in groups of 3, we put those people to work creatively and they love it. So clearly, you have on your Skype outbound message that you're creating all the time. So let's walk through those words and if you would tell your audience what those words mean to you: integrity, faith, and action.
Got it. When it comes to the integrity, it's simply living, doing, being everything that you can to do exactly whatever it is that you say. I mean, to all extents. It's not always easy. It's not always fun to let your yes be yes and no be no. But you work your way through the process to get to whatever you committed to. And no matter how flippantly sometimes. And that's that just teaches you to not be flippant with your words at the end of the day. And when it comes to faith, there's a lot that you don't know. Whatever it is that you're doing, you don't know. I mean, I don't know if my next deal is going to be great or not. I just know that I have to continue to move forward. I choose to continue to grow, to excel, to become something more than what I am today. That is part of the goal. I don't want to know. Sometimes it's good that I don't know all that's around the corner, because that's just a whole nother thing. But being around the corner, I used to be an individual who, this may be hard for some to believe today, but I would spend way too much time analyzing things and wondering, well, what about the outcome of this, and wanting to know that, and trying to make something perfect before I would start it. And that was just very detrimental to our personal growth, financial growth, to all those types of things that matter at the end of the day. And I had to learn to become a person of action, and often action. I would rather take action on imperfect information. So I tend to say it this way: I would rather take perfect action on imperfect information than taking imperfect action on perfect information. That's because often waiting to the information that's perfect, you're usually not going to take any action at the end of the day. And we've got to go out there and make stuff happen. That's kind of what we're supposed to do.
Well, it's interesting that some of the verbal associations that come along with faith, right? Works, steps, path, leap.
Right.
All of those are action driven. All of those are you sitting in the corner in your room thinking about it doesn't help anybody.
No, not at all. Not in the slightest bit. I mean, you think you're doing something, but you've not accomplished anything. And that was one of the things I had to learn is thinking is great. And there's a time for planning, but there's definitely a time for action. And planning is maybe 20% of the whole thing.
Yeah, we got to get out there and get our hands dirty in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. We got to break a sweat and put the sweat on the bricks, and let's get going.
It's what I call it's what I call the feedback loop. I mean, no matter how perfect you think your business plan is, you don't really know until you've asked someone to buy it. And then you get to find out how wrong your business plan is. This is what you think is going to happen. In fact, you even think you know who the customer is. You think this is the tenant that's going to stay in the building. This is the type of person that's going to buy my widget. You think you know. You have no clue until you actually put it out there and go, will you buy this? And people start saying no and yes, and then you start analyzing what's common amongst these people. Why are they buying it now? Why didn't they buy it before? I mean, all of these questions, that's just part of the journey. And most people that I've run into have to learn how to free fall that way. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen from day to day. We just don't.
We really don't. So if we act, then we have something that we can point to and say, well, it may not have worked, but at least I know now that that's not going to work.
Indeed. And you're not stuck in this insane thing in your head that happens. I know I could be awesome and great at this, but I'm missing this piece. And we keep putting new carrots in front of us that say, I need one more thing before I can write the offer. I need one more thing before I can actually be the husband. I need one more thing before I can actually, make a difference. No, you have all those things already.
So it is, it's related to risk. It's related to testing. It's related to being willing to, as you said, or as I said, one of us said, step out in faith.
Right. Exactly.
And you said, how do I know, why are the people that are buying, why did they buy? I would add one more question to that. If I find someone that does want to buy what I offer, I want to find out how I find more of those humans.
I know, right? Immediately.
Who do you know? Who do you hang out with? I want to talk to those people.
Right. Can you bring 100 of your friends and, help me fill up this building? Yeah, that's exactly what I want. You got it.
Clone yourself out. I will donate.
Totally. Absolutely. Free TVs for everybody. Dude.
So you mentioned a really good, interesting word there, because we have gotten some questions from some of your fans, followers, and friends. I had no idea that we would work out with 3 F's there, and appropriately they worked out to be appropriate. So that was just right off the cuff, which is interesting because I'm in short sleeves, but that's a very old joke. Anyway, what do you want to accomplish this far along in your journey?
And that's funny that we've been thinking about that a lot lately, is what are we going to do? Who are we going to be when we grow up, type of thing. And one of the things that we've bandied about and continue to see ourselves as the investor's investor. So meaning the training ground, if you will. There are lots of individual courses out there on how to do XYZ in investing. But there's very few training grounds that say you can start from zero and will help you build your every facet of the business. I mean, investing, the operational side and learning how to run your building and work with paper assets and silver and gold and precious metals, all that technical stuff, that's important. But you also need the whole business foundation. There are business principles between the marketing and the sales and the HR and all the other stuff that goes along with being successful at delivering your product or service to the marketplace. No one's out there doing this. There's no hey, if I wanted to be an investor today, where do I go from zero to be able to become the hero that my family's looking for? It's just not there. So we fashion ourselves in that sense, being able to serve the investing community in that way. Now, we've got a long way to go and a lot of steps to get there. But that's definitely something that I've thought about a lot. I mean, if we could just become that place to where people come to become an investor. I mean, if you want to go to become a doctor, you know where to go. If you wanted to be able to have practical hands-on lab experience as an investor on a day-to-day basis, you don't have some place to go. This is one of the reasons I publish, for our members, I publish my diary. They get to see the types of things that I am going through on a day-to-day basis. And you see that some of it is rather boring and some of it isn't so boring, And
it's all a question of perspective, my friend.
Right. But that's the day-to-day, life of what does it take to build and run a portfolio and a business and make these things happen.
Well, as you're talking, I'm hearing a lot of intersection, and I'm always tuning my antenna to intersections. The intersection between being an investor and an entrepreneur. Yeah. Because the way you talk about it is unique in my experience, in that a lot of people talk about investing. Hey, we're going to help you make X amount of dollars, and they don't answer the question how. They also don't address the larger issues. Like, if you do come to the point where you're going to own a whole bunch of units, you're going to need people to manage them, people to support them, people to repair them, right?
Right.
So all of a sudden you may not realize it, but you are going to be building a business. Right. And this, to me, this is the key to the future of our economy. Is as long as we keep creating jobs, we're going to have a strong economy. And when I say we, I mean you, I mean me, I mean everybody listening to this. Every time we hire someone, whether it's a consultant or a part-time person or a full-time person, we're feeding the economy. So it's a great thing to get to achieve what we want to achieve and help others achieve what they want to achieve. And that's the kind of I guess what you would call the positive feedback loop.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's pretty much what we do. I mean, as we use the word investor, but it's just really a different form of a business owner, in my opinion. When we use different resources to go out there and make these things happen. So we've got to employ people. People need jobs, and we get to use our creativity. That's probably the most fun part of the whole thing, is we can create an idea and then take that idea and find a way to present it to a market and find out, does it work? Does it not work? And even if your idea is, hey, if I just take this 2-bedroom and turn it into a 3-bedroom house, what'll happen? That's your idea, and you're just putting it out there to the marketplace. Unfortunately, because, it's real estate or, whatever the asset is, it doesn't really matter. But whatever it is, you find out rather quickly whether you got good ideas or not, but you can also create jobs in the process, which is pretty cool to think about, that you sit at home and you can create an idea of that and then package that idea in a valuable container to receive your income.
So you do have to act on the idea.
That is a prerequisite, because I can tell you that there's a number of people listening right now who they've been walking through a store at one time, and you're just walking them down the store, you're not really paying much attention, and then all of a sudden something out of the corner catches your eye, and you just look at it and you stare and you say to yourself, I had that same idea.
Oh, I hate that.
The only difference is the other person decided to do the work, get the patent, do whatever they had to do, and they got the product in the store, and now you're upset like they stole something from you. Like, no, they did the work. Your idea was clearly sound. We all have great ideas. The difference is between those who actually are willing to do the work to act on them.
Someone years ago that I heard speak said, ideas are a dime a dozen. People who put them into practice are priceless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because everybody's thinking, well, can I make this much money? Can I make that much money? I remember the first time I got a sales job, and I talked to my dad about the fact that I had gotten hired as a salesperson. And I said, I could make almost as much as X. And my father said to me, and he had never sold a thing in his life, he said to me, why are you limiting yourself to a number?
Nice.
I love that.
Nice.
I was a young man back then. So you've got a lot of ideas, clearly, because that's what you do. You're creating. You've served a whole bunch of people because you've helped them to put their ideas into practice. I want to drill down a little bit here. I want to get a little closer for people listening, and I want you to answer a very tough question.
Okay.
What is your biggest dream?
Yeah. The part of the reason we're doing what we're doing and setting ourselves up this way is there's a number of organizations out there, one of which is Hope Worldwide. They, build hospitals in foreign countries, third world countries, and anytime you hear of a large earthquake or a large tsunami, or I promise you, they are there. They've had 5-star, they've been rated 5-star by all the charity organizations for a long, long, long time. Most of the money they're just really, really good at what they do. Yet, like most nonprofits and charitable organizations, they're reliant upon donation. Well, one of the things that hit me, one of the things that I don't like is when I go to church, there's always money that's needed, and that's fine. But the fact that the church is dependent upon it as the income source bothers the tar out of me. So I was like, all right, as an entrepreneur, I could go out there, create some product or widget, and donate money. That's wonderful. But what I have that's more valuable is my brain. How can I donate my brain or ingenuity or ideas? And so the plan is to continue to go out there, obviously acquire real estate, find those investors who resonate with that message and want to help us, with their capital, to use their capital, obviously, to create a stream of income for them. But most importantly, and just as importantly, create quality real estate that where a portion of the proceeds from that real estate tend to be donated to an organization that allows nonprofits to be self-sustaining. That excites me because that can outlive me. That has the ability of outliving me. That means after I'm gone, those don't. I mean, think about it for a second. I don't have to twist anybody's arm to go on vacation. Most everybody wants to go on vacation. So if you happen to go on vacation and you were going to pay what you were going to pay anyway, but that particular hotel or that particular destination decides, hey, because you came here or because this is who we are, part of what we're doing is donating a portion of those profits, your room rent, back into, these nonprofit organizations so that they have a sustainable stream of income. I think that's a great thing. And because it's sometimes feels like pulling teeth to try to get somebody to donate money, but hey, let's go on vacation. You don't need to know, right?
Can always find the money for that.
Yeah, it's there. So that's kind of the idea, and working to be that person, to become the man that's required, that's necessary to head that up and make that happen is a challenge. But it's a challenge that I willingly accept. And after, being able to do that would be awesome. And then, I like the idea of just traveling around the world and taking photos. I really like photography more than I should, but taking photos with my wife and just going places and taking photos, I think it'd be cool.
So I have a couple of questions that have come to mind hearing that story. And we have a bunch of questions from, as I said, fans, friends, and followers. So your biggest dream is to create an ongoing stream of income for nonprofits.
Yeah.
That is not seen as a donation, but it is seen as something that is a natural product of what people are doing already.
Correct.
Okay. Where did this idea come from?
It was me and another friend. We were at a park, if I remember correctly. And I was trying to figure out what I could do to contribute to the cause. And, we had some missionaries people going places, people going here. And I'm just like, that just didn't feel like me. And he turned to me and said, Jay, somebody's got to pay for it. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, in order for all that good to be done, somebody somewhere has to generate the income to make that happen. And I was like, you know what? That's something I can do. I can learn how to become that person.
I know how to make money. I can make money for anybody.
I was like, awesome. All right. So let's figure out what that looks like, what that means. And, anytime there's, a need in the world, or anytime, we do these things called special contributions. And occasionally in my head, I'm like, man, we should be able to, we're Orange County. We should be able to give more than this. And I like that it just wasn't satisfactory, and it just bugs me, when I hear organizations say things like, you know what, we got to lay off staff because we don't have enough money in the budget. I'm like, okay, something's got to give, and I've got to do something. I can't. I just sit around and do nothing and just say, oh well, guess we just don't have it. Doesn't sit well with me. So. I've been wondering what could I do for a long time, and this is something I believe I can do and grow to do, because again, it's not like I had the idea of real estate investing and all this other stuff. I just knew the goal that I wanted to accomplish. All these steps have appeared before me. I trust me, I didn't know that 200 episodes of a podcast was something in my future.
Well, that's a great lead into one of the questions that I wanted to ask, which is, what do you know now about yourself, life, the world, that you did not know when you began Cashflow Diary?
I didn't know I had anything to say, to be honest. I didn't know that people would listen. I didn't know people would. I literally did not believe that people would actually take action and do the things that I said to do, regardless of the results that I've achieved or not. And I, now having done it for a while, I've just been inundated, and I'm excited about the results that I hear about, from Estonia and Lithuania and from UK and Germany, and as well as obviously here in the US, and just hearing like, wow, you did it. That's awesome to me. And people give me credit, and I'm like, I don't know that I deserve it. I just was trying to document something for my kids. I didn't know, that it would be that I would make a difference at all.
Okay, so you dropped something in there that I want to pick up on. You said the intent was to document something for your kids.
Yes.
So that's where the idea came from?
Yeah. Cashflow Diary started because I wanted to. I had some business mentors pass away, and I got concerned about what would I pass on, and other than real estate. Yay, they get real estate. That's wonderful. But I think what is way more valuable is my thought patterns, how I learn to think differently, how I view opportunity and challenges and getting through them, the people that I've met, the books that I read, and what I interpreted from them. And I just wanted to document that. I felt that was more powerful, more usable. And a friend said, hey, you should tell adults. I bet you they'll be interested in that too. And I'm like,
well, you got the right friends, brother, because, the first friend told you should get involved in paying for these charities' ongoing work. The next one says that you should create this ingenious business. I want to come to dinner with these friends.
I know.
And I'll pay for it.
Yeah, well,
if that's what it takes.
Yeah, we might have to work that out. I'll let them know.
I love it.
And that's basically how it began. It was a process to document, and I consider all of our members the test cases. It was like, have I documented? I figured if they could do something, if they could actually go from zero to accomplishment, that told me I had documented. That was the confirmation I needed. I documented that process well enough. So that, hey, if some random stranger who had no background, no knowledge, nothing, can go from zero to something and an accomplishment, I was like, okay, cool. Then my kids could do the same thing. They could follow it if they so chose. I just knew I had the process documented. And that's pretty much what we've been doing. And it's been exciting, and it just keeps taking me into new places over and over again, which I kind of enjoy.
You know, it's very exciting to me to hear that your language is consistent, that your tone is consistent, because we've had a couple of different opportunities to interact. Mm-hmm. And during our last conversation prior to today's recording, you said something to me. I said, so what really is the overall goal here? And you said, we want to take people from possible to probable.
Yeah. Yes. And that's the thing. It's, I mean, and I grew up not thinking what I do was probable or even possible for me. And unfortunately or fortunately, simply because of the way that I look. And that's just so many paradigm shifts were necessary to change all those things. The thing is that most everything that we want has always been possible. Okay. But we're not surrounded by the right tools, knowledge, skill sets, etc., to make them probable. And that's where our community comes in. I mean, we start surrounding you with a lot of the right people. Yeah, and I know it sounds weird. How can you do this in an online environment? I'm just telling you, I've watched it work. I've been watching it work, and we've been growing at a breakneck pace, especially these last few months, which is great. And it's just amazing to see that as more people who are seeking and pursuing the same things and submitting to the same language and training and indoctrination, they're able to achieve things faster and faster and faster. And it's pretty cool to watch happen, literally right before our eyes. And it just makes, and the more people that are there, the more probable all these things become. I mean, what used to be difficult was reaching another country, yet now we've got members in other countries that many people want to do business in, or reaching another state. And all these resources come together to help us succeed. And it's just pretty cool to watch it happen.
Well, you're watching it happen from basically from the driver's seat. I mean, not that you're driving what people are doing with the information that you teach. However, you are absolutely, I guess it's the passenger seat. I'm too excited, forgive me, because you're really a part of this. And it's not because you've inserted yourself into it. It's because they've chosen to step out onto the path right next to you. And I think that one of the keys to the success that you have and are enjoying is that you make this stuff accessible. It's not an exclusive feel in any way, shape, or form. The fact that you can bring your material across international borders and it speaks to people says that it is it's a deeply resonant message.
Yeah. You want to talk about something I didn't know? I didn't know that at all. I mean, I remember the first time I went to Estonia, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. And I'm like, I just didn't know. And
do you speak Estonian?
No. You're catching on. I'm like, I don't speak the language. I've never been there. It's probably going to be cold. All of those types of things. And yet I've gotten messages back. Hey, we were able to raise capital. We got this deal done. And then I'm just like, wow. Okay. So this is, and my team told me a while ago, they just said, Jay, this is bigger than you now. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means, but that's all right. I'm open for the journey and learning about it and just continuing to move forward.
Another thing that you didn't know would happen.
No, I had no clue.
No. And when you started Cashflow Diary, had you imagined the team that you have now?
No, I laugh.
It's only funny because it's true, right?
Right. Yeah. I laugh because how I found one of the first guys who helped us put a lot of our video equipment and our website together is I hold a Cashflow game often on New Year's Eve. That instead of going out somewhere, we have Cashflow at our house. It's pretty fun. Anyway, he came over and I was so excited to show him all the stuff that I was doing and how I was doing it. And I was literally trying to be in front and behind the camera by myself at the same time, recording the videos and all this other stuff. And he just politely inserted himself into my life to help me out because he could tell. He could tell that.
Like, dude, you're killing yourself. This is not the way to go.
Yeah. It literally. He's said that. No, don't do that. Let me help you. I'm like, oh my God, am I that bad? And the answer was, yeah, it was that bad alone, and that's okay.
Well, I don't know that it's always you're that bad. I think that so much of it is you understanding and connecting to what you are personally best at. And I think a lot of people get hung up on they want to be best at everything. Well, me personally, at my stage of life, I'm pretty okay with the fact that I don't have that kind of time.
Right.
I don't plan on being. No, not. I don't want to be the best at everything. I want to be the best at the things that I do, that I have chosen to master. So I'm looking at information that your team has sent me, and we've got a whole bunch of questions we want to get to in just the remaining 26 minutes. So we'll do the best that we can. You never know. We may have to do this again at 300 podcasts. Who knows? And those of you that are listening, that's called an assumptive close. That's what that is. All right. So your team tells me that you've worked on stage with some very big, very impressive names. Sure. John Assaraf, Simon Black, Mr. Kiyosaki.
Yep.
Who would you point to and say, whether they're on that list of names or elsewhere, who would you say has been your biggest mentor?
Biggest mentor. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to. Well, they're not on. They're just not on that list in either case. So obviously, being a follower of Christ, Jesus is the biggest mentor. Period. He's got most everybody's information is a rehash of something he said in some way, shape, or form. So that is consistent and constant and has been there the entire time. I'm too darn chicken to be in this position if it wasn't for him. That's for sure. There's another individual out there. His name is Stephen Gregg, who took me and helped me to learn all of the basic foundation from networking. I mean, he was the one who forced that. And when I say forced, forced me to go to Toastmasters. I did not want to go to people. I just didn't want to go. There was no way. I wasn't going to do it. He showed me how to sell, how to actually have a conversation and sell with and to people, and not be afraid to challenge them on the crazy things that people say sometimes in sales situations, and help them to a decision. And I was able to watch him do that time and time again. I mean, a lot of the basics of just understanding that people stay where they grow, period. And us, that's primarily what we do. People think we do real estate. That's true. Real estate is how many of our members express what they've learned. But what we're really doing is we're helping people grow personally and professionally in all kinds of different ways. And that's exactly what will happen. If we can build each and every member, help them learn to think differently, become better, and understand the world and see it differently, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, precious metals, it doesn't really matter. Whatever it is, whatever business you've got. I mean, we've helped people with iPhone apps, some people who wanted to do music and movies and entertainment and sports people. It doesn't really matter. What matters is who that person is under the skin, so to speak. All that other stuff on the inside is where we reach in to pull that out and give you framework with which to express it so that you can go out there and achieve a result.
There's a word tapping on the back of my brain, asking to get led into this conversation, and the word is character.
Yes. Yeah.
You're looking, whether or not you intended it when you began, but interestingly enough, it seems to me that you are attracting people to your community that are people of character.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that means
that doesn't mean they're perfect. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. It means we learn.
Well,
and when we find and discover and uncover a failure or a flaw, we fix it. Period. I mean, and we go about fixing it. We don't necessarily run from it, although depending on the size, you might want to run for a time because it's just like, oh my God. But you turn around and you eventually fix it. And that's exactly what it comes down to, is figuring out how to become that person. Very few of us are born the person capable of receiving that which we are asking for. So we have to become someone different.
You ever read the book, The Go-Giver?
No.
Okay, great book. I'm not a co-author, so I'm not pitching one of my own products. It's a great story, and it's told in the greatest teaching style in history. Jesus used it continually. It's called the parable. Right? Yeah. There once was a man. As soon as you hear that, as soon as everyone listening to this hears that, they think that that guy is someone that they know, or it's them. And in this book, The Go-Giver, they talk about how important it is to be able to receive. The example is the mentor says, I want you to exhale. I want you to get every ounce of breath out of your lungs, and I don't want you to inhale. Well, guess what? The guy can't do it. He has to inhale. We have to receive in order to give. And that is not an easy thing for a lot of people to get their head around. And I would suggest every one of your listeners that they would go out and get a copy of that book and read through it slowly and read through it about 3 times like I did. And you know what a fanatic I am about sales, Jay. Everyone listening to this needs to go find a Toastmasters club tomorrow, check it out, try 2 or 3, and get busy on the program. For the amount of money that you invest,
I know,
and the little amount of time that you have to sacrifice, the return is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Toastmasters rocks. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the same thing. And as an additional assignment, if you will, go listen to Cashflow Diary episode 67. I actually interviewed Bob Berg, the author of said book, The Go-Giver. So you can hear from him in his own words.
I didn't even know that. I should be more up on what you're up to. Okay, so I have a couple of questions here, and we got like 17 minutes left. Let's see. What do we want to hear about? Do we want to hear about techniques, or do we want to hear about what goes on in your heart? I think we want to go to what's in your heart, and then we'll talk about techniques. So I would like to hear about your involvement, you, Jay Massey, your involvement in basketball for underprivileged kids.
Well, it's at the end of the day, basketball is something that's close to I grew up playing basketball. I like watching it. It's fun. And if it wasn't but for an accident, who knows what my life would have turned out to be. You know, I was thinking I was going to go play college basketball, and then from college basketball, I was open to the idea of going further than that. But an accident prevented that from happening, and that's okay. At the end of the day, basketball is a way to get someone's attention about something that I've since learned that's way more important than a round ball. And that's just understanding financial literacy and concepts. I mean, growing up where I grew up, how I grew up, that there's no reason I should know what I know today, but I do, and I'm grateful for it. And the sooner someone can be exposed to these concepts, the better. And I've watched this through my oldest daughter, who's now 18. She's been learning a lot of these concepts since she was 9. And she thinks differently. She responds differently to certain stimuli and pressures when it comes to needing capital and cash. And she gets the idea of how to go out there and make something of value and sell it. And in fact, my one of my younger daughters has just started doing the same thing. She literally just sold a little bit ago, like her first 6 crochet items, and now we can't get the crochet utensils out of her hand. She is just going to keep, I know what's about to happen here. She's just like, I'm just going to keep making stuff. And I mean, she's 7. So anyone, you're going to buy it. It's a 7-year-old, right? But sure, at some point she's going to have to learn how to make a quality product and all this other stuff. But the point is, she got the principle She didn't just ask for money. She made something and then asked somebody to buy it. And they said yes. And I'm just like, yeah, this is the good stuff. And, being able
priceless lesson.
And especially as a father of daughters, it's just something I'm really concerned about. Like, who are they going to marry? Mm-hmm. Oh, God. So, putting all that together, I don't know. I just think it's cool.
Well, we got away from something, though. I asked you about your involvement with basketball for underprivileged kids.
Yes, that's true. Sorry. Basketball. The point is that the teaching the principles to the kids is what matters, and the basketball just grabs their attention. That's really all it's designed to do. It grabs their attention, and then we have these opportunities where they go into the classroom setting with me, and I help them begin to understand some of these financial concepts. Some of the kids that we've worked with in the past have written back saying, you know what, Mr. Massey, I'm going to go to college now because of that. They weren't thinking college, but now they're like, you know what, I can probably go to college now. I have an option. I have a choice. And not all people belong at college. And some people, like, myself, I didn't know I didn't belong there. And if someone doesn't come along and say that there's another option, you might actually think the only way to go out there is to get good grades, get a job. That might be what you're supposed to do. And
right.
If you don't know that, if someone doesn't come into your life to tell you that there's another option, you might feel a little discouraged and you might make a wrong choice, in terms of who you affiliate with and what you choose to do with your time. And, end up in jail or on the news or something in a negative way. And this opportunity gives the kids an opportunity to see someone, in most cases, not all, but in most cases, someone who's very similar to them, choose something different. And like, wow, I didn't know that was an option for me.
Well, the fact that people at an early age can get into their head, can open their eyes to the fact that they do get to choose how they spend their time. The earlier that occurs in someone, the more inspired they end up being.
Right.
And to me, part of the reason that I constantly tap on your forehead and try to get some of your time is that I choose to be around people that inspire me. Because what do I do all day is I go out and hopefully I'm inspiring other people. It is a catch fire kind of thing. It doesn't, that energy doesn't deplete. It only increases with action, only increases with contact. So we've got like 4 more questions I want to get out of you, but unfortunately we're limited on time. So I'm going to pick a couple.
Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it.
All right. And I've been taking furious notes because what I've done is chosen to put together a closing that reminds everyone what the key points that I got out of this are. And hopefully that doesn't mean that they're going to fast forward through it just to the end. I think they should hear the nuance and the different pieces that you brought to this. So a couple of people from Facebook had some great questions. And one of them is, what circumstance challenged your dedication to making your business work, and how did you handle it?
Do you mean today, this week? Okay. Challenge.
Isn't that funny? See, what they're asking, they think that it's this one thing, right?
Right.
They think that it's this one day, this one problem that you had. You solve that problem, boom! All of a sudden, you got however many units you have, and you're teaching, and you're going to Estonia, and all this other stuff. How often are you challenged? And answer me that question.
I'm challenged every day. Period. Something goes crazy every day. Now, is it?
You remember what happened the day you and I had lunch?
No, because it wasn't.
Your shopping cart crashed.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I do remember that. And but that day and that moment, that was a high intense moment of, oh my God, this is happening. I don't remember. I didn't even remember it. When you said that, if you hadn't said that, I wouldn't remember. I would have been like, what happened that day? I don't know. And, there's so many challenges that come, and they come from everywhere. And that's okay. That's part of it. Learning to be flexible. One of my mentors used to say, "Blessed be the flexible, for they shall never be bent out of shape."
I like that.
You have to be, because you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds and sometimes thousands of people on a daily basis. And that's, people are people, and that's okay. It's just so there's a challenge every day. There's not a day that's challenge free. Trust me. If it's not a challenge in business, remember, I have 4 children. Oh. One of which is in college, so she'll bring her challenge, into the house. I have a spouse, a wife. She's got challenges. I mean, there's going to be a challenge somewhere. There are always.
Well,
challenges.
Let's tell the truth. You're her living challenge, brother.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Good thing you're interviewing me, not her, right now.
I understand. So this leads into the next question, which came from Facebook. What habits, ideas, and principles built the man that is Jay Massey today?
The biggest habit, idea, and principle all come again from the Bible. I am praying constantly because I'm consistently emotionally overwhelmed with the responsibility of leading the people that follow and providing clean, safe, affordable housing and keeping the jobs going, all that stuff. That is consistent. But that's a principle in the Bible. Also asking where plans fail for lack of counsel. One. And where there are many advisors. Plans succeed when there are many advisors. And I'm consistently
walk with the wise.
Yes, exactly. Because I know I'm certain I don't have all the answers, and I strive to be I make joke of this, but I really do strive to be the dumbest person in the room. That's like my goal. If I can achieve that, then and it doesn't mean I don't know stuff. It just means about their special thing, they know more than I do, and that's what I want.
Well, I've been a musician all my life, and Pat Metheny is a famous, gifted guitarist. The legend is that he was teaching at Berklee School of Music when he was 19 years old. This is just like one of those people that's been touched on the forehead by God himself. And he said, the second you realize that you are the best musician in the band, you need to quit the band.
Right.
It's not about you being the best or shining the most. It's about you being able to learn from and draw from other people. So what makes you get up every day? Someone on Facebook wants to know.
Well, what makes me get up is the people that I haven't met yet. I mean, I strongly believe that there's a husband, there's a father, mother, sister, brother out there they're looking for a solution. And I believe that we can solve part of their challenges, and they need to hear the story. They need to know that it exists, that there's something that they can do about it. They don't have to just accept, oh, well, I guess I just can't. And I'm looking for whoever they are so that they have an opportunity to know that there's something that they can do, that there's a responsibility that they can take, and that people are looking to them to become something more than what they currently are. And they're out there, and it's just evident they're out there. And if we can make a 0.001% difference, then great. That's what I'm doing.
You know, all of us, we humans, every single one of us, you, me, everybody listening to this, we all are capable of so much more than what we have already achieved.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how old we are, and it doesn't matter where we grew up, that if someone has somehow, some way been funneled into your audience, then they can either follow or exceed what you've accomplished.
Yeah, I hope so. They better. They should. I mean,
if they're listening.
In theory, that's like if someone goes through a forest and cuts a path and it only goes so far. In theory, you should have enough energy and ability to go further simply because you didn't have to do the work that they already did.
But it goes back to one of your words. It comes back to action.
Yeah.
Gotta act, man. That was in the greatest salesman in the world is, to me, the single greatest piece of literature ever written on the topic. It's told, oddly enough, in parable form. And one of the key things that he asks the reader to read again and again and again is a scroll and an instruction that begins with those 3 words: I will act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Becoming a person of action is absolutely key. Implementation is my strongest skill set.
And it's also like what you said before. It's not, I didn't have this one challenge and that fixed everything. It is a constant developing, right?
Right. Yeah. One challenge. I know. It's kind of funny. Sometimes I might wish it was just one thing. No, not even close. But that's okay. That's all right. That's what keeps. That's the other thing that creates the opportunity, is because it isn't just one challenge, because it's not just one thing, because it's so pervasive, quote unquote. It actually keeps people from being your quote unquote competition. So you're only going to be competing with people who are willing to deal with challenges, because at some point, the rest are going to just drop off.
They are, and a lot faster than you probably think. And the more we're concerned with whether or not they drop off, the more we're impeding our own progress.
Yeah. No need to, it's not like you got to keep an Excel sheet or a chart.
Although you and I both know people who have.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just keep going. Just keep going. You'll be fine. Just keep going.
Next.
Focus on your people. Right.
That's right. All right. So 2 more questions. First is another one from Facebook, and then one is selfishly, it's from me. And then I want to do a closing, and I want to see if there's any final thoughts that you have. From Facebook, someone asked, what's your most successful creative acquisition technique?
That's easy. It's what we call a purchase money mortgage. It's where many people just call it seller financing, but there's so many different forms of seller financing. It's just helping a seller or a person who has a piece of property or an object you wish to purchase understand the tax consequences of why they don't want all cash. They think they want all cash. Most cases, it's not beneficial to them unless they like making a very large donation to Uncle Sam. Then, or whatever their tax jurisdiction is, it's usually not in their best interest. And when you know that helps you avoid, all kinds of extra challenges when it comes to trying to acquire a property, and just being able to adequately, properly explain those benefits, not the benefits to you, but the benefits to them as the one who's going to be holding the note is important. And once you've learned to do that, I think you're going to be, you'll be happy with the results, because you'll be able to buy more property than the next guy, whether or not banks are lending.
Interesting. Okay. So we've asked similar questions to this, but this one is just burning in my mind. Who, at this stage of your life, your career, your development, your success, however that may be measured, who right now in your life do you admire?
I'm growing in my admiration for this concept of grace that God continues to pour out upon me. That is for sure. And as far as a person that I could, that I see, there's an individual by the name of Kevin Maines, who's one of the lead evangelists at church, and I'm learning about how much I have in common with him from a mental, emotional makeup, or how much I feel I have in common, and how he's been able to overcome, just the using constant prayer and these types of things to be able to persevere. And I've always held a special spot for anyone who's been in any form of military service, having been in a military family my entire life, obviously. I have an inside understanding of the sacrifice, and right now that sacrifice is huge. It's always been huge, but it's just huge. And I get to do what I do. People get to listen to this because of that. We don't always make the direct connection, but it's definitely there. And the families that are behind are making just as much of a sacrifice as those that are actually on foreign soil.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you about 30 or 45 seconds to come up with any kind of closing comment, remark, what's the word I'm looking for? Admonition, anything that you want to close this out with. But my notes are extensive, and I just want to walk through some key points that I have gotten out of this time, because you spending this time with me has been a blessing to me, because it has done a variety of things. It's validated things that I thought I knew. It opened my mind to exploring things that I don't know anything about. and it gave me more time with you. So all of those are deeply valuable. At the beginning of our time together, Jay said that the 3 words that he would use to say that he lives his life by are integrity, faith, and action. I wish I could say each of them with the emphasis that he did, but that's the closest I can get. Second, it didn't happen right after that, but he continually talks about options. We have options. Every minute of the day is a precious thing that we can choose to spend in a profitable, in a servant mode, and both of those do work together. We are here to have some sort of success in life. And isn't it funny that the more we serve others, the more full our life becomes? You didn't say these words, but I wrote this down because I believe that this is how you operate. You're encouraging people all over the world to follow their heart. If their heart says that I want to do something challenging and exciting and will impact people, boy, coming up with clean, affordable, low-cost housing, that elevates all of us. There's an undercurrent to what you say that I picked up when you interviewed me. I picked up when we spent time one-on-one, and how important it is. And I think I boiled it down to 2 words, which are learn willingly.
Yeah. Be
willing to hear what teachers have to say and learn it, not memorize it so you can get it right on the test. The Buddhists say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And that doesn't mean, okay, well, you're this age now, so a teacher should show up for you. Ready means humility. Ready means willingness to serve. And these are 2 words that I'm going to put into a LinkedIn post before the end of the week. I'm going to start spitting them out in my presentations. Learn willingly. And you said a couple of different ways to put your ideas into practice. I know that you and I have talked about how important it is to start the day by answering the question, how can I serve today? I would point everybody on this that's listening to this to go back to our podcast, which I believe is number 168. It was a fun event, and it was very well responded to, and it should not just go off into the digital ether. And the importance of getting into Toastmasters. Anyone listening to this, for any reason at any age, no matter where you live, Toastmasters is an international organization that is dedicated to building leaders. And it may sound painful, but it is the absolute, it's a clear, defined, you were talking before about, cutting down all the trees in the path in the forest. Boy, Toastmasters has done that and invites everybody of every background, of every ilk, to learn these skills, to learn willingly. And that just is so powerful to me. I personally, again, I want to thank you for taking this time, and I want to hear how you want to, what do you want to leave all of your listeners with as a result of this podcast?
Hey guys, and I just want to thank you, John, for having the crazy idea to shake things up. Hopefully, we didn't shake it up too much, and they're still listening. And at the end of the day, we're just modeling exactly everything that we've said. You have an idea of how things should go. Try it, find out, get the feedback, figure it out. No longer do you need to sit on the couch. Just go out there, put your idea out there in the marketplace, and find out. You don't know the greatness that's inside you. You just don't know. You think you know. You think you have an idea. You don't know what you're made of until you are forced into a situation to try. And I'm saying go out there and force yourself to try. Actually give yourself a shot to become more than what you've seen yourself be at this particular moment. Guys, gals, it's been fun talking to you guys today in a completely different way. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.